Hi, welcome to Zydoxa, and today we're looking at a news oddity. So now my news oddities will be stories that are unusual, odd, weird, maybe unknown, or even funny. So today's news oddity is the royal uppers. So by law, the British monarch, so King Charles III, owns all unmarked swans in open water in the UK. However, there are some exceptions on the Thames in London where the swan's ownership is shared between the king, the vinters and the dyers. It was in the 12th century when the tradition of swan upping began. So swan upping is the traditional way in which the swans on the Thames are sectioned between the three owners. The main purpose of swan upping, today anyway, is to check of all swans on the Thames. It's to count them, weigh them, measure them, tag them and health check them. And this is done every year in the third week of July for 5 days. So this year it started on the 15th of July. The royal uppers wear distinctive red jackets, uniforms, and along with the uppers you have people from the dyers and vinters, and they all travel up and down the Thames in traditional rowing boats known as skiffs, catching and checking all the swans. The recording of the king's swans is done by the marker of swans, and the oarsman of the royal skiffs is done by the company of watermen and lightermen. This is also unusual to me. Now, swans that belong to the king are left unmarked except for a light ring on the leg, which is linked to the British Trust for Ornithology. Excuse me. The swans that belong to the dyers and the vinters, they receive a similar ring on the other leg, and the rings on the legs have replaced nicks on the swan's beak, which used to be made by a metal implement. One nick was for the dyers and 2 nicks was for the vinters. Luckily, they don't do that anymore. So, since the 12th century, the UK monarch has owned all unmarked swans in open water, which comes with the title of Signior of the Swans. Signior of the Swans at the moment is King Charles III, and this title has stood for centuries. There are 2 officers in charge of carrying out this responsibility on behalf of the king, and they are the warden of the swans and, as mentioned earlier, the marker of the swans. Both are positions within the royal household. There has only ever been one full cancellation of this tradition, and that is, of course, in 2020 due to COVID social distancing rules. The name uppers, I believe, comes from the fact that whilst rowing down the Thames, they see a swan family and they shout, "All up!" and all the boats come together to surround the swans and proceed to catch them. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of this tradition until recently. I knew about the monarch owning all unmarked swans, but not the tradition of upping. It must be very surreal to be by the Thames and you see people dressed in red uniform descending in rowing boats and going up and down catching the swans. It must be really weird. So tell me what you think about this tradition in the comments. Did you know about swan upping? Have you seen it in action? I hope you enjoyed this news oddity, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you join me in the next video. Bye for now.